All right, so now we are in Rudesheim in Germany with a latitude 50, which I'm assuming is where they actually are, but don't take my word for it. Don't know that for sure. Sekt, which means dry. Wait, and so does Brut, Sekt Brut. So it's a little bit repetitive actually. White version of their sparkling wine. And this is a bunch of basically like what I would call Alsatian grapes, just because they're like the noble grapes of Alsace that they're using here. Maybe not all of them, but Pinot Blanc, Silvaner, and then Müller-Thurgau. Don't know exactly what the mix or blend is there. And what they do is they basically are taking those 3 different grapes from across different vineyards, harvesting them at different times of the year to ensure that the acidity is still high, sugar content is relatively low, though obviously still enough so that you can get that beautiful sparkling, I was gonna say texture, I guess texture vibes, whatever from it. And it's just, the goal is to make it like a crisp, clean, easy, fresh, young sparkling. So the exact opposite, if you're in a 12 club when you're getting this, or if you've had it, of the other sparkling that we have, which is aged bubbles from Klaus Lentiscus. So total opposite vibes, both delicious. Just this one we should be expecting to be fresh, fun, price performing, yummy, good bubbles, but nothing like as crazy or intense or as like refined, I guess you would say, as like the other one. But that doesn't mean that it won't be just as delicious in its own way. All right, so that's what I'm looking for in this one. Now let's smell it, though it's very bubbly, so be careful when you put it. And again, time of year, I definitely say get a flute, but you do you. If you want to do a regular wine glass, that's fine too. Oh man, it's tough to pick them out, honestly, just because of the amount of bubbles, and I literally just poured it. But it's like very citrusy, some apples, like the yellow apples, I think, which is interesting because I was kind of thinking it'd be more like is it Granny Smith? Whatever ones are like the kind of sour ones. I'm getting less of that. It's honestly, it's a little bit tough to get stuff on the nose from this one, but it's kind of like, let me just say, zesty, fruity, fresh. And I think that that's enough. That's great. That's what I'm really looking for from this. All right, let's try it. Okay, so you can get way more from the palate. So it's got more texture and like a heftier mouthfeel than I was expecting. I'm guessing maybe it had some lees contact, but I don't know that for sure. I'm just going to read the thing here and see what it says about it. pH. Oh, SO2 free. Didn't realize it was a 001, but that's pretty cool. Yeah, it doesn't say whether or not it has lees contact, but my guess is that it has maybe a little bit because it's got a nice creaminess to it and it's young. I think it's non-vintage, but my guess is it's just been released, so it's got to be pretty young. So that's where that would come from. Let's try it again. It's got lovely frothiness to it, but nothing crazy. It's like it's more like Prosecco-esque. I don't know if they riddled it themselves or if they did the Prosecco method, but it feels, I think they probably riddled it just based on the way that the bubbles are forming, and they're beautiful and they're small. That's actually really nice now that I look at it closer. This is not some like big bubbled Prosecco style. So they probably did this ancestral style is my guess. But again, this is all just guesses. Don't know for sure. There's not too much out there about it. But it does have a little bit of residual sugar, I would say. So they purposely harvested it, and it's pretty easy to or no, sorry, it's not easy to harvest in Germany to have low sugar because that means that it has to ripen a lot. And in most places in Germany, you're not getting tons of ripening because it's pretty cold. So actually, based on that, I would say that it definitely has some residual sugar. The amount, I don't know, because I couldn't find it on the tech sheet, but I would say just a tiny amount, definitely more than the other one we put in here. And it's really nicely balanced with the kind of like tart flavors that you're getting with it. So with that in mind, I would say that this one is perfect for of course, just easy drinking. It is a little bit too easy to drink. But you could also put it like it's just your typical bubbles. I would put it with any sort of appetizers, definitely put it with New Year's celebrations. If you want, it's like I think it's like we price it around like $19 or something. Like if you want to use it for mimosas, I would do that. I would definitely think like I mean it's nicer than that. It deserves more than a mimosa, but if this is what I had around, I would certainly put some orange juice in it. And the fact that it has a little bit of residual sugar, I think is going to make it absolutely perfect for that. So now just going to my southern roots, I'm now thinking it's not going to last that long, but I do have a few. So this one will probably be drank with all the desserts that I made for Christmas. I'll probably save it for some of our dessert stuff, or when we have our friends over this weekend, maybe when we have what's it called? Canapes are like little, not that we're that fancy, but we have some little, like I think they're like cheese balls, but I think they still count as canapes. But then on Christmas, our like southern traditional Christmas thing is to do egg sausage casserole and mimosas, and this would be absolutely perfect blend for that. So I don't want to sound like I'm like, you deserve better than that, but I'm also very excited that that's what I'm going to use you for. So I hope that gives you some ideas of what to use with it. And just generally, I haven't said this, I started with our first video with the first bubbles, and now I'm going to end with these, mainly because I needed the cap, but also because it's fun to finish that way. So Happy New Year, Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, whatever you're celebrating. Thanks for being with us this year. We really appreciate you guys, and enjoy all your wines. Oh, I guess that's what I always say. That's how I literally finish every video, I've realized. So enjoy.